The theme of today's video, try and figure out what the hell these coaches are saying when they're intentionally saying absolutely nothing at all. Hey, Dave Loughlin here on Twitter at Loughy_D. It's right there. Give me a follow if you haven't done so yet. Talking preseason as we do right here on the YouTubes every single year. And this one's no different. 3 games on Friday before we head into a huge slate on Saturday. And there will be no video for Sunday, but all of the picks, assuming I have them, will be free over on Tails. I told you guys all of my preseason picks, all the regular season picks, including our fun little, round robin touchdown props, ladder plays, and the like, will be over there for free all year. Never charge you a cent for those. Just click that link, first one in the description. Sign up for a free account. It takes 2 seconds. You can use like Apple or Google login, not even create one of your own, and then follow me. Don't click subscribe, follow me, and then all of my picks all preseason and all year before they ever drop on YouTube will be right there, and we'll sweat these games and have some fun together. So let's get into it. We got 3 games for this one on Friday, and when I say these coaches are saying things that, it's like cracking the cipher, that's not always a bad thing if the line suggests opposite of what we actually think. You know what I mean? So we'll get into that. But anyway, let's kick it off with the Browns and the Panthers -6. And like I said, come hit me up, follow me over there on Tails, free all season long, and I'll jump them ahead of the line on all these YouTube videos. I talk about this all the time, guys, for those of you that have been here a while. When a coach says his starters will play a couple series or so, mind you, the Panthers are 6-point favorites here. What it really means is if they have a nice sustained drive, maybe get some points, they're probably done. If not, they probably come back for another drive, maybe until they score, maybe until the quarter's over. So that's the interesting thing about all of this. And head coach of the Panthers, Dave Canales, said he said the quiet part out loud, the part that we've been saying for years now when he was asked if his starters would play on Friday. You want to know what he said? He said, I think a couple of series. My hope is that you get a good first long drive. If so, we're done there. If it's a 3 and out on either side, well, I'd like to give them another shot. Somewhere in if I had a perfect number, it'd be probably 8 to 12 plays would be my hope for the group, right? We already know that type of stuff. That's how these coaches operate most of the times. We also know Shedeur Sanders is starting for Cleveland, and honestly, I wouldn't be surprised to see him play nearly the entire game here because Joe Flacco isn't playing. Dylan Gabriel and Kenny Pickett are both out with injuries, and Tyler Huntley's Snoop is the only other quarterback on the roster. And do you really need to see what you have in him? I mean, you don't, right? I'm not saying he doesn't play, but it's also pretty obvious by now, especially after he was forced to start in Tua Tagovailoa's absence last year and was spectacularly unsuccessful in Miami. So if you're giving me Carolina starters on one side with Dave Canales saying that he'd like to see him get a good first long drive, and if it's a 3 and out, get him back out there versus Shedeur Sanders, well, why don't we just bet the first quarter spread here? Why not? I mean, I get it that there's not much margin for error, but I think it makes the most sense, and here's why. If Canales wants to see his starters get points on the board, he didn't say points, but, we can infer as much, right? Likely given 2 chances if they don't score on the first try against the Browns backups, just give me Panthers -0.5 point. It's at plus money, plus 105 on DraftKings right now. Wouldn't you rather have that than us laying 6 points on a full game when we have no clue how long Andy Dalton plays? It might be Plummer. I don't know. But it's not out of the question that Dalton replaces Bryce Young and plays the remainder of the first quarter, which would be better for us anyway. Mind you, last season he didn't play in the preseason because he had an injury. But yeah, I'd rather play the first quarter line than lay 6 on Carolina when we know that backups can absolutely ruin a good thing and they can ruin it fast. Oh, and by the way, this is by far the most fun type of sweat for the preseason. If you guys are doing this just for fun or you're doing it like I am to win our bets, the first quarter spread is the best of both worlds. Panthers -0.5 point in the first quarter plus money on DraftKings. All right, Lions and Falcons. Lions are 3.5 point favorites on the road. Here's what we know so far. Hendon Hooker is starting for the Lions, and he's probably going to play a bunch. Kyle Allen's going to play out the rest of the game. They're basically going to flip what they did in the Hall of Fame game. Mind you, Lions have 4 preseason games this year, only them and the Chargers because they played the Hall of Fame game. Every other team only has 3. Dan Campbell did express some willingness to play both of his top rookies in this game who sat out in the Hall of Fame game. But for the Falcons, you're not going to see Michael Penix Jr. You're not going to see Kirk Cousins. So you know what that means, my friends? For those of you who have been with me on these videos from the beginning, you know. Guess who's in Atlanta now? Old Easton Stick. Yeah. Easton Stick, the old 4-10 touchdown interception ratio for his career in the preseason since 2019. The 5 yards per attempt quarterback. Look, I don't know how much of him or Emory Jones is going to be a quarterback. My guess is they basically split here, get plenty of both, but either way, just not great. The only thing I don't feel comfortable with here, though, is Raheem Morris said a lot of the young starters, the young players would be out there, and not just like your back of the roster rookies either. I assume this is mostly defense amidst, a bunch of positional battles, but I can't say for sure. And I'm never just going to make shit up for you guys to sound like I'm confident in a play so you come back for the next video. If I don't like something, I'm going to tell you I don't really like it. And this is one of those cases where, yeah, Hendon Hooker and Kyle Allen feels better than, Emory Jones and Easton Stick. But am I willing to lay more than a field goal on it in the preseason? Did Hendon Hooker or Kyle Allen look even remotely competent last week? No. I'll say this, as little faith as I have in Easton Stick. We talked in the Hall of Fame game when we did that video last week about how Dan Campbell appears like he really just wants to run wants the quarterbacks to run what they called, right? You have a new defensive coordinator, new offensive coordinator. You lost Aaron Glenn. You lost Ben Johnson after a great season. He doesn't want them to improvise. He said, don't get flashy. Don't try and make plays. So with that in mind, this is not my favorite play by a wide margin, but it's a play nonetheless. Give me under 32.5 on FanDuel. We're getting that at even money. That's where we're going to go here between the Lions and the Falcons. All right, let's close this one out. Commanders at the Patriots. Patriots laying 6.5 here. As always, guys, if you're not on Bet365 yet, links in the description. $5 into $200 in bonus bets. If you're in one of the states where Bet365 is available, do yourself a massive favor. Collect this type of stuff when it's offered, because sooner than later, all of these books stop offering these type of sign-up offers as they gain enough traction, right? And right now, the best one on is Bet365. Most of you are probably already on DraftKings and FanDuel and all of that good stuff. Right over on Bet365, we took them for a lot last year with those home run promo or touchdown promos. They got rid of them after a few weeks. But yeah, place a bet. It's a $10 deposit, $5 bet. Win or lose, you got $200 in bonus bets. Link is down there. 18 years or older to gamble. You have a gambling problem, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER. But talking about the Patriots, they're 6.5-point favorites at home against the Commanders. Now, I always want you guys to know that I'm just giving you the information I have here. You can tell me because I bet all of these games myself. The ones that I tell you, I'm betting the ones that I like. Or go the opposite direction. It means it doesn't matter to me. What I want you to know at the end of the day is that interpreting the information in the preseason is the only thing that matters. So the fact that the Patriots are 6.5-point favorites, based on in my opinion, a Mike Vrabel quote, once again, it seems like a lot of points in the preseason. Vrabel, when he was asked about his starters playing against the Commanders, this is what he said. I'd say most everybody that's healthy should expect to play in the game. For how long they play, I don't know. He went on to say something about like, we got to learn how to play in games and win games, and that's what we have to do. But that's coach speak, right? All right, so back to interpreting information here. First off, he said most, not all. Okay? They might play, but he said most, not all. Second, he said he doesn't know how long. Whenever a coach says he doesn't know for how long in a week 1 preseason game, in my experience and your guys as well, it almost always means they're going to play less than they would play more. All right? It's not a guarantee, but that's usually what it means. And third, these teams held joint practices this week. Vrabel actually got bloodied up by diving into the pile of massive, angry humans who were trying to fight each other. But look, Drake May and the offense, according to every report I read, played really well, which one more time, typically in this case, after a joint practice going into a week 1 preseason game, coaches tend not to give them much playing time or any playing time in that type of game. You have Josh Dobbs and you have undrafted rookie Ben Woldridge. They're the only quarterbacks on the roster other than Drake May for the Patriots. And as far as the Commanders go, they do have some flashy young rookies at running back and wide receiver who should be expected to get some burn. Jaden Daniels is out. Marcus Mariota's out. It's not great. I don't hate Josh Johnson, but Sam Hartman's just a guy. We'll see what happens here, but I'm good on laying 6.5 points in a preseason game when they're coming off joint practices, especially when all we have to go on is an opaque quote from Mike Vrabel to hang our hats on, when these coaches just say things a lot of the time. So maybe they play, maybe they don't. And if they do play, is it only a series? I don't know, but 6.5 points is a lot. And the more you lay big points in the preseason games, over time, you'll learn you get burned more than you don't. So give me the Commanders plus 6.5, and I'll see you back here for Saturday's video. Bye-bye.